It is said that India-Australia partnership has transformed from 3 C's, that is cricket, curry and Commonwealth, to 4 D's. 4 D's: democracy, diaspora, defense and dosti. Well, change is the law of nature. And if that change is for good, then that is the best. It seems as of now that India and Australia ties are increasing exponentially in multiple domains. When the Indian Prime Minister visited Australia as part of his 3-nation tour, that is Indonesia, Australia and New Zealand, he also received a ceremonial welcome over there. The atmosphere was upbeat. The Australian leadership was very much inclined towards the Indian leadership. Having said that, it does not mean that the India-Australia partnership or the relations does not have their share of challenges. They are there. Australia is considered to be tilted towards the West, or it is part of the West. So, India is not part of the West. There is huge trade imbalance. Australia exports more to India. Although we are discussing a CESA with them, that is Comprehensive Economic Cooperation Agreement. Let's see what happens. In a nutshell, I would say that this entire visit of the Indian Prime Minister to this continent country, Australia, was very fruitful. We will discuss all the aspects, and after that we will discuss the significance of Australia and India partnership. So he was there from July 8th to July 10th, and this was his second such visit to Australia. He last visited in 2014-15. Now, massive list of outcomes. There were 20 outcomes which can be seen on the board as of now. There was this joint declaration on defense and security cooperation, in which both the countries talked about elevating their partnership beyond intelligence sharing agreements, or for that matter defense trade also is expected to get started, because Australia is a key, I would say, country in the Indo-Pacific region. Maritime security collaboration roadmap has been prepared, where joint drills, patrollings and all will be done by both the countries. Then India-Australia joint statement on energy security. Energy security every country wants right now, especially we saw this episode in Strait of Hormuz. Then finalization of administrative arrangement of India-Australia civil nuclear agreement. It actually has operationalized the 2014 civil nuclear deal. Actually what happened was, India, when conducted its second nuclear test in 1998, Australia stopped exporting uranium to India. In 2014, Australia lifted that ban, civil nuclear cooperation agreement was signed, and now it is coming into operation. Australia-India partnership for cyber, critical technologies and supply chains. It is referred to as PACTS. So again, this is a emerging domain. This is a more diffusing domain, digitalization, cyber security. It is much needed. India-Australia sports collaboration roadmap. Again, it is a sporting country. There are sports like cricket, football, rugby, prominent sporting country it is. So it will help India evolve its Olympic preparations or Commonwealth Games preparations. Definitely that will boost India's capabilities. Then MOU between Indian Coast Guard and Maritime Border Command of Australia. So again, this is a defense sector collaboration. Australian invite for an Indian military instructor in Australian Defence College for 2028-29. Our instructor will go there and teach them, because our military training is way beyond their military training. Then there is this MOU for skill development. Then there is this handing over letter of intent to Flinders University for setting up its campus in India, in Bangalore. Foreign universities can now open and come and open their centers in India, or their campuses in India. India has amended its universities law. Then letter of intent between Vocational Training Institute of India and Australian Skills Quality Authority. Again, skill training and all, that is this MOU for. Repatriation of Indian artifacts. One Nandi bull, one, I would say, this image of Lord Shiva, And this is not the first time this is being done. Previously artifacts of Nataraja and all, they have been handed over by Australia to India. Now also they are handing over. Operationalization of rooftop solar training academy. India's rooftop solar program is running well. So we will do that over there as well. MOU under Australia, Canada, India Technology and Innovation Partnership. So this is one such or two such countries, Australia and Canada, where a lot of Indian diaspora is. So mobility of workers will become easy. MOU between Geoscience Australia and Geological Survey of India. Again, this is scientific development. Traditional Knowledge Digital Library Access Agreement between Council of Scientific and Industrial Research and IP Australia. So see, traditional knowledge is basically knowledge from the generations which has been passed on, and this can be medicinal knowledge, this can be any other healing knowledge, preservation knowledge, many other domains. Then MOU between Council of Scientific and Industrial Research and University of Melbourne is there for scientific collaboration. MOU between Satyajit Ray Film and Television Institute, Kolkata with Griffith Film School. So filmmaking again is a new domain which is coming into picture. Then handing over letter of approval to Victoria University to open its campus. Strengthening cooperation across multiple sectors for a peaceful, prosperous and resilient Indo-Pacific. The Indo-Pacific vision is same for both the countries, as both the countries are part of Quad. So you see multiple domains in which our engagement was. Do we have a strategic partnership with Australia also? Yes, we have it. Now if I sum up the domains, it is related to trade, it is related to energy, it is related to education, it is related to scientific development, it is related to digitalization. Multiple domains are there on which collaboration has been done. And as an aspirant to memorize, you need to memorize these broad domains in which we are engaging with each other. So this is what you need to know and understand. Now talking about overall ties between India and Australia. As I said, the ties have evolved from 3 C's, that is cricket, curry and Commonwealth, to 4 D's, democracy, defense, diaspora and dosti. We have a comprehensive strategic partnership with Australia. This comprehensive strategic partnership highlights multiple dimensions of partnership, and we've already seen in what all dimensions we are engaging now, in what all dimensions we want to deepen our partnership further. Common objective: establish a free, open and prosperous Indo-Pacific. Ours also and theirs also. Now what is the significance of ties? First is geostrategic and geopolitical significance. Indo-Pacific balancing. That is very important. See, both are Quad members. Quad mein there are actually 4 members: India, Australia, USA and Japan. So for all of them, the Indo-Pacific vision is same, that is to establish an open, free, prosperous and inclusive Indo-Pacific. So that is one converging point. And this also calls for greater maritime partnership with each other, which we are establishing. Then economic significance: trade, $48 billion. This was basically 2024 figure, and target is $100 billion by 2030. Trade is, I would say, imbalanced, means Australia exports more to India. Australia has critical minerals, uranium, energy resources which India needs and India imports. India has manufacturing scale which India is not able to export so much as of now. A growing market and a service tech sector Australia wants access to. Australia's largest trading partner is China. Its dependency is on China. But we want that Australia, starts increasing its imports from India also. And for that purpose, a CESA, that is Comprehensive Economic Cooperation Agreement, is being negotiated. Australia is a reliable supplier of LNG, uranium, many other mineral resources. But we want India's manufactured products to enter Australian market. One of the biggest, I would say, potential is the presence of Indian diaspora over there. Around 8 lakh Indians are present in Australia, which can generate demand for Indian products. The need is to tap that potential. Hopefully, we will do that. Defense significance. Relationship in this domain encompasses various aspects like defense exercises, intelligence sharing agreements. Now we have started talking about defense trade. That is why I have used the word potential over here. So we can definitely do that. Ensuring maritime security in the Indo-Pacific is the converging point. And that is why this defense partnership is very important. The strategic partnership is there, so definitely defense component will be there, but defense component up to what extent? That also matters. Now, last is diaspora. As I said that approx 8 lakh members of the Indian diaspora are there. Many of them are voters in Australia. So, that becomes, more significant. We can influence the politics of Australia. This diaspora can generate demand for Indian products in Australia. The need is to generate that feeling of Indianness in them and keep that feeling generated. So, we definitely are wanting to do that. But yes, there is a challenge also with respect to this diaspora. The natives of Australia, the Australians, they are not liking this figure, that is 8 lakh Indians in Australia. And that is why when PM Modi was there, such kind of slogans were put up. Modi, go home, take the rest with you. Such kind of protests have now become common across the developed world, where the inhabitants of those countries, predominantly from the developed world, they are wanting the outsiders to go back, the immigrants to go back. Even though legal immigrants, they don't want them in their country. Multiple reasons are there why they don't want them. First of all, and the most important, is increasing pressure on the social resources like water, sanitation, electricity, such like. Rising inflation, because more the population, more the demand. Housing inflation has risen, food inflation has risen. Jobs, third factor. The outsiders come, they eat up the jobs, which if they would not be there, those jobs would have been gone to the natives. Then there have been incidents like, shootings, attacks, terrorism. So, like, in Australia only, in the Bondi Beach, an Indian was involved in that attack. So, people are fearful from that particular point of view as well. And that is why slogans like these, Modi, go home, take the rest with you. And if you see them, these are the original inhabitants of Australia, so-called, or the natives of Australia, original natives. They are not immigrants. That is one such concerning point. But yes, that has to be dealt with. Now coming on to challenges between India and Australia. First challenge is inclination of Australia towards the west, and India is basically the balancer between the west and the east, Russia, China and all. India on one part is part of Quad, and on the other part is part of organizations like BRICS, organizations like SCO. This is the scenario with India. So at times when Australia starts speaking the voice of the West, challenges between India and Australia increase, which obviously should not be there. Second is racial discrimination against Indians in Australia. This racial discrimination can lead to be, a big challenging factor between the governments of both the countries. Like we saw what happened during the Prime Minister's visit recently. Then India's protectionist policies in trade. India does not open its market for agricultural imports. India levies, import duty. Although we have a free trade agreement signed with Australia. But in that free trade agreement, India says that I will levy import duties on the agri products, which Australia does not like at all. Then imbalanced trade. As I said, Australia exports more to India. India is dependent upon Australia. And last is China factor. China factor is basically dependence of Australia on China also. But yes, this dependence is reducing and China has a problem with that. Because as I said, that Australia is more of inclined towards the West and West is anti-China. So we need to consider these complexities in our engagement with Australia. We need to work upon these challenges. We need to resolve these challenges and we need to move forward. That is how modern day diplomacy looks like. More importantly, we need to increase our exports to Australia. There's a lot of potential. We need to increase our engagements in sports, in cultural domains, for critical minerals, for energy. That will secure us more as a country. And definitely, it will deepen our partnership with Australia. So let's hope and pray for the best. So with this, we've come to an end of this video. I will now be coming up with the next video in which I will be discussing the outcomes of Indian Prime Minister's visit to New Zealand. Till then, stay tuned. Keep studying, keep reading, keep writing, and most importantly, keep revising. Namaste, Jai Hind, take care.